It was a cold Tuesday morning in the city center. I walked down the street with my good friend Leo. The wind was strong, so we wanted something warm to drink. Leo pointed to a small cafe with a wooden door. It looked like a very quiet and comfortable place. A large board outside showed today's special coffee deals. I stopped to read the prices and the names of drinks. My pink sweater was soft but not warm enough for today. Leo said that this cafe had the best beans in town. I was excited because I love trying new coffee spots. We pushed the heavy door and heard a little bell ring. The smell of roasted coffee filled the room immediately. It was much warmer inside than on the busy street. There were small round tables and many green plants. I saw a free table near the large front window. Leo suggested we check the menu before sitting down. I followed him to the counter at the back of the room. My eyes were wide because the menu was very big. There were so many options for milk and sugar. I didn't know if I wanted something hot or cold. Leo told me he always orders the same strong drink. He likes simple black coffee without any extra cream. I prefer my drinks to be sweet and very creamy. We stood in line for a few peaceful minutes. I watched the barista working with a large silver machine. The sound of the milk steamer was very loud and busy. Leo checked his watch to see if we had enough time. We had 30 minutes before our next work meeting started. I felt my hands getting warm in the cozy atmosphere. Leo started talking about his favorite type of coffee bean. He knows a lot about different countries and their flavors. I just like the taste of chocolate and vanilla in my cup. There were glass jars with big chocolate cookies on the side. I thought about buying a snack too, but I wasn't hungry. The line moved forward and it was almost our turn. I took a deep breath of the delicious coffee aroma. Leo stood on my right side and looked at the chalkboard. He was ready to pay for our morning drinks today. I felt very happy to spend this time with a friend. We reached the front of the line to make our order. The barista was a young man with a friendly face. He asked us what we would like to drink today. I looked at the menu again because I felt nervous. There were words like macchiato and flat white there. I asked Leo what the difference between them was. He explained that a latte has more milk than a cappuccino. That sounded good to me because I like milk a lot. I also saw a special autumn drink with pumpkin spice. Leo shook his head and laughed at my sweet choice. He said that real coffee should be bitter and very dark. I told him that everyone has a different favorite taste. I decided to order a large latte with oat milk. Leo ordered a double espresso in a very small white cup. The barista asked if I wanted any syrup in my drink. I saw bottles of caramel, hazelnut, and dark chocolate. I chose caramel because it is my favorite sweet flavor. Then the barista asked about the temperature of the milk. I wanted it extra hot because the weather was so cold. Leo told the man he wanted his espresso very quickly. He was ready to start his busy day with a lot of energy. I counted the coins in my hand, but Leo stopped me. He said it was his treat for our morning walk today. I thanked him and put my small purse back in my pocket. The barista wrote our names on 2 paper cups with a pen. He wrote Clara on the large cup and Leo on the small one. I liked seeing my name on the side of the cup. We moved to the right to wait for our hot drinks. There was a small station with napkins and wooden sticks. I took 2 napkins for us just in case we needed them. Leo stood by the counter and watched the coffee dripping. The machine made a clicking sound as the beans were ground. I saw white foam forming on top of a different order. Cafe was getting busier with more people coming in. Everyone looked a bit sleepy but very excited for coffee. I felt like a part of a morning ritual for city people. Leo started telling me a funny story about his cat. It was nice to laugh while waiting for the warm cups. I looked at the green plants hanging from the high ceiling. The light inside was soft and very relaxing for my eyes. Finally, the barista called my name in a loud voice. I walked to the counter to take my large paper cup. It felt very warm and heavy in my small hands. I could smell the caramel and the creamy oat milk. Leo's tiny cup was ready a few seconds after mine. He took his espresso and looked at the dark liquid. There was a little bit of brown foam on top of his drink. He said that was the mark of a perfect espresso. I looked for a place to put some extra cinnamon on top. I found a small shaker near the sugar and the spoons. I put a little bit of brown powder on my white foam. Leo didn't add anything to his small cup of coffee. We walked back to the table near the large window. I sat down on a soft chair and felt very comfortable. Leo sat opposite me and put his drink on the wood. I didn't want to drink it immediately because it was hot. I blew on the foam to cool it down a little bit. Outside, people were running to catch the red buses. I was happy to be inside this warm and quiet place. Leo took a small sip and looked very satisfied with it. He said the flavor was very strong and a bit fruity. I took my first sip and felt the sweet caramel taste. It was exactly what I needed on this cold Tuesday. The oat milk made the coffee feel very smooth and light. We sat in silence for a moment, enjoying the peace. The sun came out from behind a dark cloud for a minute, made the glass jars on the counter shine like gold. I saw my reflection in the window and I was smiling. Leo asked me if I liked the caramel syrup I chose. I told him it was the best part of the whole drink. He said he prefers the taste of the roasted beans alone. We talked about our plans for the rest of the week. I had a lot of work to do on my new computer project. Leo was busy with his studies at the local university. This coffee break was a very good start to my morning. I felt more awake and ready for my difficult tasks. My pink sweater felt warm now because of the coffee. I watched a small bird sitting on the window ledge outside. It looked at us through the glass for a few seconds. Leo laughed and said the bird wanted some of my foam. I felt very relaxed and happy in the little cafe. We stayed at the table for 15 more pleasant minutes. I noticed a small shelf with old books near our seats. I picked up a book about travel and looked at photos. Leo told me about his trip to a coffee farm last year. He saw how the green beans turned red on the trees. It takes a lot of hard work to make one cup of coffee. I started to respect the drink more after his long story. My latte was half empty, but it was still very warm. I used a wooden stick to mix the caramel at the bottom. Leo finished his espresso and put the cup on the tray. He said he felt full of energy and ready to run. I laughed and told him to sit down for 5 more minutes. The cafe was full of the sound of people talking softly. I heard a girl at the next table speaking a foreign language. It was a very international and friendly place to be. I saw a man drawing in a sketchbook with a black pen. Everyone was busy with their own little morning world. I felt lucky to have a friend to share this time with. Leo asked me if I wanted another drink or a cookie. I said no because one large latte was quite enough for me. The sugar and the caramel gave me a little bit of a rush. I felt my brain working faster and my mood getting better. We talked about our favorite music and some new movies. Leo likes action films, but I prefer romantic comedies. We agreed that the soundtrack is the most important part. I finished my drink and felt a little bit sad it was over. The empty cup had a few brown spots of coffee on the side. I stood up and put my pink sweater in a better position. Leo took our empty cups to the recycling bin near the door. It is important to keep the cafe clean for other guests. We prepared to go back out into the cold morning air. I put on my scarf and wrapped it around my neck twice. Leo opened the door and let me walk out first. The bell rang again as we left the warm building. The street was still busy and the wind was still cold. But I felt much warmer inside because of the hot latte. Leo walked beside me and we headed toward the office. I checked my phone and saw a message from my boss. I was on time and felt very confident about my work. The morning coffee was the best decision of the day. The walk to the office took us about 10 minutes. We passed a small park with many orange autumn leaves. Leo found a beautiful leaf and gave it to me. I put the leaf in my pocket to keep as a memory. We talked about how the seasons change the city's mood. In winter, we will need even more hot coffee, I said. Leo agreed and suggested we try a different cafe next time. He knows a place that serves coffee with spicy pepper. That sounded very strange but also very interesting to me. I am always happy to try something new and unusual. We reached the big glass building where we both work. Many people were entering the lobby with their own cups. I saw my colleague Sarah at the entrance with a tea. She looked tired, so I told her about the caramel latte. Leo waved at his friends near the elevator doors. We stood in the lobby for a final minute of talk. He thanked me for the conversation and the morning walk. I thanked him for the delicious coffee and the treat. We promised to meet again for lunch on Thursday afternoon. The elevator arrived and the doors opened with a ding. I stepped inside and pressed the button for the 5th floor. Leo stayed on the ground floor to go to his department. I watched the doors close and saw his friendly smile. The elevator went up and I felt a bit like a rocket. I arrived at my desk and turned on my big computer. My office was quiet and smelled like fresh paper. I put the autumn leaf on my desk near my keyboard. Every time I looked at it, I remembered the cafe. I felt very productive during the first 2 hours of work. Caffeine helped me focus on the difficult numbers. I wrote 3 long reports and sent them to my manager. Sarah came to my desk to ask for some help with a file. I showed her what to do and she was very grateful. She said I looked very energetic and happy this morning. I told her the secret was a good friend and a latte. We decided to go to the cafe together next Monday. The sun was shining on my desk through the window. I felt very lucky to have such a nice start to my day. I took a deep breath and continued with my busy tasks. Life in the city is fast, but coffee makes it better. The sun started to set and the sky turned pink. I finished my work and prepared to go back home. I put my laptop in my bag and took the autumn leaf. The office was becoming empty as people went to the exit. I walked down the stairs instead of taking the elevator. I wanted to move my legs after sitting for 8 hours. I walked past the small cafe again on my way to the bus. The lights inside were warm and the door was still busy. I saw a different barista through the large glass window. I remembered the taste of the caramel latte from the morning. It was the highlight of my cold and busy Tuesday. I reached the bus stop and waited for the number 5. The bus arrived and I found a seat near the back window. I looked at the city lights as the bus moved slowly. I felt very calm and satisfied with my whole day. Leo sent me a text message with a photo of a new bean. He found a special coffee from Ethiopia at a local shop. He asked if I wanted to try it with him on Saturday. I replied yes, because I am becoming a coffee lover. I reached my house and opened the front door with my key. My apartment was quiet and felt very warm and safe. I made a cup of herbal tea to relax before bed. I didn't want any more caffeine late in the evening. I sat on my sofa and looked at the photo of the beans. It is amazing how much a small cup of coffee can do. Brings people together and gives them a lot of energy. I felt more connected to the world around me today. Ordering coffee is a simple thing, but it is special. I learned the names of new drinks and met a new barista. I shared a laugh with a friend and enjoyed the autumn sun. I am Clara and I am ready for my next coffee adventure. I put the orange leaf in a book to keep it forever. I felt my eyes getting heavy as I finished my tea. The day was long, but it was filled with good moments. I was thankful for my health and for my great friends. I turned off the light and went to my comfortable bed. Tomorrow will be a new day with new challenges and cups. I will always remember the smell of caramel in that cafe.
Leave a comment under this video and one of you will get 40 English lessons for free.